Hi, my name is Mrs. Borchard, and I am Kavanaugh's grandma. He calls me Booky because I love to read books. So I'm going to read a book to you today, and it's called Hip Hip Hooray for Annie McRae. This is Annie McRae. She looks so happy. What else do you notice about her? She has curly hair. She's missing a tooth. Are any of you missing teeth? I think she's probably about your age. So the name of this book is Hip Hip Hooray for Annie McRae. So I think she must do something great because somebody's cheering hip hip hooray. Let's read and find out. Howdy, Mom, called 8-year-old Annie McRae as she threw off her covers and jumped out of bed. Howdy, Chestnut, she said to her stuffed horse. Mom smiled from the doorway while Annie carried Chestnut to his favorite spot by the window so she could make her bed. I love the way you take care of your room, said Mom, and then she cheered as she always did. Hip hip hooray for Annie McRae. That put an extra spring in Annie's step as she dressed and danced her way to the kitchen, clicking together the heels of her turquoise blue cowboy boots every few steps. So there she is, getting her room ready. And there's her horse Chestnut. Do you have a special toy that you like to have in your bedroom? She likes her horse named Chestnut. Howdy, Dad, Annie belted as she searched through the cereal boxes to find her favorite. Good morning, Dad smiled over the wall of boxes Annie was building on the counter. What kind of day is it going to be? He asked playfully. There she is looking through the cereal wall at her dad. What kind of a day? It's going to be a rip-roaring, corn-cracking day, Annie responded, and she poured herself a bowl of cereal and didn't spill a drop of milk. I love the way you're so careful, said Dad, and then he cheered as he always did. Hip, hip, hooray for Annie McRae. That put an extra sparkle in Annie's smile as she grabbed her backpack and twirled out the door on her way to school. So there she is, not even spilling a drop of milk. And she's feeling pretty happy as she is on her way to school. Howdy, Mr. Garcia, Annie shouted as she bounded through the doorway of room 14. May I hold the pointer during Big Book today? Absolutely. I love the way you volunteer, said Mr. Garcia. And then he cheered, as he always did. Hip, hip, hooray for Annie McRae. That put an extra zing in Annie's swing as she sashayed her way to the closet to hang up her backpack. So there's her teacher, Mr. Garcia, and there's Annie getting to school, and she's very excited. I hope you're excited when you get to school. Howdy, Grandma C. Annie hooped as she arrived home from school and sat down at the piano. I hope you're in the mood for a concert. Annie slid forward on the edge of the bench so her boot could reach the loud pedal. I love the way you practice piano without even being asked, said Grandma C, and then she cheered as she always did. Hip, hip, hooray for Annie McRae. That put an extra forte in Annie's fingers as her hands do-si-doed across the keyboard. So there she is playing the piano, and there's her grandma listening. Looks like they have a baby at their house, too. And that's about how things went every day until one morning when Annie woke up, moved Chestnut to the window, made her bed, and hollered, Howdy, Mom. But Mom was in the shower and didn't say a word. Annie put on her turquoise blue cowboy boots, but she didn't click her heels. She was a little lonely that day, wasn't she? In the kitchen, Annie crunched her last bit of cereal and put away the milk without spilling. Howdy, Dad, she called. But Dad was working at the computer, and he didn't talk to her. Annie tried again. I think it's going to be a trailblazing, whip-snapping day. But Dad didn't say a word. Annie kicked the screen door open with her boot and slumped off to Wellsford H. Clark Elementary School. She look happy today? No, not as good of a morning this morning, huh? Howdy, Mr. Garcia, Annie yelled. May I do snap and clap during word wall? But Mr. Garcia was meeting with Whitney's mom and didn't talk to her. Annie dragged her boots across the floor and slouched toward the closet. Oh, she's looking really sad here, isn't she? Nobody has time for her. Did you ever feel like that? Howdy, Grandma C, Annie bellowed after school as she sat down on the piano bench and banged the keys. But Grandma C was taking a nap and she didn't say a word. No one cheered hip hip hooray for Annie McRae the whole mixed up day. Annie drooped outside to the back porch swing, kicked off her turquoise blue boots, hugged her knees, and cried until her nose ran. So here she is playing the piano, and her grandma doesn't notice. And here she is crying on the porch swing. That's a sad picture, isn't it? At least she's got her friend Chestnut with her. The following morning, Annie made her bed as usual and looked around for her mom. When she didn't see her, Annie picked up Chestnut and moved his mouth open and closed while she cheered for herself. Hip, hip, hooray for Annie McRae. Then she put on her turquoise blue boots and clicked her heels. And there she is. She says, well, if nobody else is going to cheer for me, I'll cheer for myself. At breakfast, Dad had already left for work, but Annie was still careful. As she put the milk away in the fridge, she made a deep voice like her father's and cheered, hip, hip, hooray for Annie McRae. And that put an extra hip in Annie's hop as she headed off to school. She's deciding to make it a good day. Mr. Garcia was gone to a workshop, but Annie still volunteered to help in class. Inside her mind, she cheered, hip, hip, hooray for Annie McRae, and that put an extra zip in Annie's skip. She hurried home, clipping her heels together every few steps. She's got her smile back. Yay! Howdy, Grandma C, Annie called as she sat down to practice the piano. But Grandma C didn't have her hearing aids on, so Annie just smiled to herself. She didn't need Grandma C to cheer for her. She didn't need Mom or Dad or Mr. Garcia to cheer for her either. The only one who needed to cheer for Annie was Annie. And with that, she threw her head back and hollered, hip, hip, hooray for Annie McRae. What? Asked Grandma C. What did you say? There she is. She says, I can make my own day special. And here's her grandma saying, what? What did you say? So we started with a happy Annie and we ended with a happy Annie. That's wonderful. Oh, nothing, shouted Annie. Grandma, how was your day? Hip, hip, hooray for Annie McRae. I hope you liked the story. If you did, tell Kavanaugh.